To make his late mother proud, he started sharpening his natural talent by building toy cars, learning technical skills, and working very hard until he developed a solution that transformed the landscape of the African tech industry. Once upon a time, in the quiet and peaceful village of Eziama, lived a young boy named Obinna. Though he had lost so much and endured extreme hardship at a tender age. Despite his ordeal, Obinna never lost his belief in a better tomorrow. He was humiliated, mocked, and rejected. People looked down on him. They saw Obinna as just an average village boy who would never go far in life or achieve something meaningful. But inside him burned a strong fire that no one could quench. It was the fire of purpose, determination, and a dream that refused to die. It gave him the strength to believe in himself despite all the challenges the world threw at him. This is the inspiring story of Obinna, the orphan who walked on dusty roads with bare feet but saw, believed, and built a future that transformed the landscape of African automobile industry and placed the continent on the global map. At just 10 years old, Obinna was already showing signs of great talent and unique abilities. He had confidence, a strong will, and undying determination. Such rare competencies set him apart from the other children in Eziama. While most of the kids ran around playing from morning till night, Obinna defined a different responsibility for himself. He never waited to be told what to do. He supported his mother in any possible ways he could. He fetched water from the village stream, collected firewood from the forest, helped plant crops in the farm, and carried the goods to the market to sell. His mother, Ugochi, was a poor widow who had no husband to support her in providing for her only son. Even though she could not give Obinna the finest and most luxurious things in life, such as toys, new clothes, or private school education, she gave him something far more valuable, things that money cannot buy. She showered Obinna with abundance of deep love, strong prayers, wise advice, and the belief that he was meant for something great. Every day, Ugochi reminded her son Obinna, "My son, you are not ordinary. You are special. You are destined for great things." Their house was a small home and made of mud bricks, with an old, tattered roof. They didn't have much in terms of material possessions, but their home was filled with joy and love, to the envy of their close neighbors. In the evenings, after a long day of work and toil, Obinna and his mother would sit and relax under a big mango tree in front of their home. They would share their simple meals, tell stories, laugh out loud, and talk about their dreams. It was their favorite time of the day. Even though they lived in poverty, their hearts were rich with happiness. The warmth of their bond made their little home one of the happiest places on earth. But life is full of unpredictable circumstances. Ups and downs. Sometimes, sad things happen when we least expect them. One fateful morning, Obinna and his mother went to Eek Market to sell fresh vegetables. Business was good. Customers came in large numbers and bought everything they brought. Many still wanted more. Ugochi decided to return to the farm to bring another basket of vegetables, while Obinna stayed behind to continue selling. As the day passed, Obinna noticed people whispering and looking at him with worried eyes. Something didn't feel right. Then his friend Udoka came close and spoke in a soft, shaky voice. "Obinna, I'm so sorry. Your mother was bitten by a snake while in the farm. Her condition is not looking good and people say she is badly hurt." Obinna's heart sank. Without a second thought, he dropped everything and ran home as fast as his legs could carry him. When he got there, a crowd had already gathered. Some women were crying. The village traditional healers had tried their best. They applied herbs and said prayers, but Ugochi was lying still on her mat. Her eyes were open but blank. She did not even recognize her son. That night, Ugochi tragically passed away. Obinna's world collapsed around him. He cried more bitterly than he ever had. He cried until his voice was gone. He refused to eat. He refused to talk to anybody. His world had fallen apart. He had lost not just his mother, but his only friend, his support system, and the one person who believed in him the most. After the burial, the village elders gathered and made a decision about Obinna's well-being going forward. He could not survive alone. He was too young. So they sent him to the city of Enugu to live with his mother's younger brother, Uncle Maduka, who worked as a roadside mechanic. This move was the beginning of a new chapter in Obinna's life. The city was a different world from what Obinna was used to in the village. The tall buildings, noisy traffic, bright lights, and crowd of people everywhere were so strange to him. It was confusing and overwhelming. Obinna missed the quietness of his village. He missed the warm smiles of neighbors and the peaceful sounds of birds humming in the bush. Everything was fast in the city, and it took him time to adjust. Starting school in Enugu was another challenge. The students laughed at Obinna's village accent. They mocked his clothes and called him names like bush boy and village rat. Obinna felt alone. He didn't have any friends to talk to. But he kept going to school, knowing that to achieve his dreams, he needed to be a hard-working student. He remembered his mother's words. He kept his dream alive. Though Obinna was not the best in his class academically, he was outstanding in a different area of intelligence not recognized by the regular school curriculum. His level of competence in craft and artistry cannot be rivaled by any of his classmates, including those that occupy the top positions. Obinna loved anything that had to do with machines and moving objects. He was always curious to check them out, take them apart, understand how they worked, and fix them back. He loved asking questions, and he always wanted to know how to make things better. His hands were quick, and his mind was sharp when it came to anything technical and artistic. He would stay up late thinking and reading about engines, wheels, gears, and machines. One day, their teacher, Mrs. Ngozi, gave them an assignment. Write an essay about what you want to become in the future, she said. The next day, students began reading their essays aloud before the class. One wanted to be a doctor. Another wanted to be a lawyer. A girl said she wanted to become a fashion designer. Everyone clapped and cheered them on for their suitable career choices. Then Obinna stood up. He read, "I want to become an automobile engineer. I will build the biggest car manufacturing company in Nigeria. I don't want to be a roadside mechanic like my uncle." The class burst into laughter. Even the teacher couldn't help herself. She laughed out loud. "Obinna," she said gently, "your dream is too big and impossible to achieve. You need to choose something more realistic and suitable for people of your class. Maybe a carpenter or a spare parts seller. How can a poor orphan like him get money to go to the university and study engineering, let alone own a company?" she questioned. Obinna looked her in the eyes and said, "Thank you, Ma. Your advice is good, but I will not change my dream. I may not have much now, but I believe in my dream." Mrs. Ngozi was not impressed with the way Obinna challenged her authority in the class. She frowned and told Obinna with a harsh tone, "Then you will fail the assignment." "Then let me fail," Obinna replied, "but I will still keep my dream." That day, Obinna went home with a poor result. He went home with a renewed purpose. Although humiliated and discouraged by the entire class, he went home with a dream no one could take away from him. Not long after, it was time for Teachers' Appreciation Day in Obinna's school. Parents gave their children money to buy beautiful gifts for their teachers. Some brought perfume, food packs, wine, clothes, and bags. Obinna had no money and no parent to provide for him. He started thinking about what he could present to his teacher in order not to be left out of the show. He searched through his belongings and found something special and priceless in his possession, his mother's old necklace. Some of the beads had fallen off, but it was still precious. Obinna wrapped the jewelry in plain paper and put it into his school bag. When others were offering their gifts, Obinna gave his own special gift to Mrs. Ngozi. She opens all the gifts one by one and thanks the students individually. When she opened the paper and saw the old necklace, the class laughed again. But Obinna said softly, "This jewelry belonged to my late mother. It's the most valuable thing I own. I want you to have it. You are the mother I have now." Mrs. Ngozi was silent. She was deeply moved by Obinna's bold action and kind gesture in the face of family challenges and personal struggles. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She stood up gently, wore the necklace, and gave Obinna a warm hug. "Thank you for the gift," she whispered in his ear. The rest of the class was surprised at their teacher's sudden likeness and special interest towards Obinna, who just presented a cheaper gift than theirs. They didn't understand how sorry and remorseful Mrs. Ngozi was on behalf of the entire class for judging Obinna wrongly, without knowing what he was going through. From that day, Mrs. Ngozi treated Obinna differently, with kindness, care, and respect. She started helping him more, asking about his welfare, defending him in class, and encouraging his fellow students to treat Obinna the same way. After school hours and on weekends, Obinna spent quality time in his uncle's mechanic workshop. Due to his tender age, he gets involved in minor workshop activities such as fetching tools, cleaning spark plugs, and running errands. Obinna didn't just help aimlessly. He observed carefully. He wrote down notes. He sketched diagrams. He asked questions. Gradually, Obinna learned from expert mechanics how various car problems are diagnosed and fixed. His interest in cars grew beyond fixing broken cars. He wanted to know how to make them. His ambition is to be an automobile engineer capable of making cars. Obinna realized that staying in his uncle's mechanic workshop alone is not enough to help him achieve his dream. Knowing that he has no money or parent to sponsor his university education, Obinna was committed to doing whatever is necessary to boost his prospect of becoming an engineer. He visited the public libraries to read books, and he browsed the internet in search of helpful information. He visited bigger automobile workshops in the city to learn more complicated things that he couldn't learn in his uncle's small workshop. He started carrying out minor demonstrations of technical experiments. Gradually, he began to understand how cars worked. Obinna didn't stop there. He started trying his skills by building toy cars using scrap materials, copper wire, tin cans, discarded plastics, cardboard, metal sheets. He crafted them with such elaborate details and expertise that people found it hard to believe that those toys were made by a teenager with no formal training. As time passed, Obinna developed competence in his craft, and eventually, he was able to build a small working car powered by battery, a single-seater mini car that could carry just one person. The news spread across the school, the neighborhood, and even the local news station. Everyone was amazed at Obinna's ingenuity as a young boy. Even the people that doubted his abilities and the people that criticized his insane idea were proved wrong. People started calling him young engineer. He instantly became a local celebrity among his peers due to his prodigious talent. Children gather and run after him in the street whenever he drives his mini car along the street. News of a big statewide technical competition was announced. It was a highly competitive event, and only the best students in science and technology from each school are allowed to participate in the Nobel contest. Obinna's school, without hesitation, selected him to represent them. No one gave Obinna a chance to do well in the competition. Most people didn't believe he would win. They thought that the students from the famous government technical college would beat him easily due to the unrestricted privileges available to them, such as a well-equipped laboratory, the best mentors, and huge financial support. Obinna has none of such privileges, but he had something more powerful: belief, passion, dedication, and relentless effort. Although Government Technical College has built a reputation in the competition over the years by dominating the first position. But Obinna wanted to cause an upset this time around. He poured his heart into the project. For weeks, he barely slept. He refined his mini car model, added new features, enhanced its performance, and made it presentation ready. On the day of the competition, many sneered at Obinna. Some whispered behind his back. But when it was Obinna's turn to present, the entire hall fell silent at his awe-inspiring performance. His invention worked flawlessly. His presentation was confident and clear. His technical initiative was way ahead of the competition. The judges were stunned. Obinna took everyone by surprise. He didn't just win the competition. He outperforms his counterparts by a wide margin. He broke an untouchable record by becoming the first non-technical college student to win the gold medal and first prize by a wide margin. The governor, Dr. Ugochukwu Okeke, who attended the event as a special guest of honor, was so impressed by Obinna's performance that he awarded Obinna a full scholarship to study automobile engineering at a top university in Hamburg, Germany. By now, Obinna's dream was beginning to take shape. His tireless efforts and sleepless nights were starting to pay off. Obinna didn't see his opportunity to travel abroad for studies as an escape from the harsh realities of a third-world country. Instead, he saw it as a chance to make a global impact and change Africa for the better. He made a promise to his people that he would surely return and transform their fortunes, from struggle to surplus, through innovative technology. To fulfill that promise, Obinna doubled his academic efforts by enrolling in multiple university courses. He didn't just study automobiles, he also explored renewable energy, robotics, and artificial intelligence. This decision empowered him to understand the technology behind electric cars and how to make them drive autonomously without a human driver. For 10 solid years, Obinna toiled patiently in the garden of hard work. He learned, labored, failed, and tried again until he mastered his craft with a level of competence that qualified him as a global icon in his field. Obinna amassed quality knowledge and experience from top engineering institutions around the world. These rare credentials gave him a competitive edge to dominate Africa's emerging technology market. Despite receiving lucrative job offers from top German engineering firms eager to keep him in the country, Obinna rejected them. He decided to return home and develop his fatherland, putting Africa on the world map through cutting-edge technology. On his flight back to Nigeria, something unexpected happened. At the German airport, Obinna met a young, elegant, and intelligent Nigerian lady named Amara. She had also completed her studies in Germany and was returning home. They started a friendly conversation, laughed, shared stories, and quickly became close. By the time their plane landed in Nigeria airport, they were already exchanging numbers and making plans to meet again. Weeks later, Obinna discovered something that seemed like a divine masterstroke. Coincidentally, Amara was the only daughter of his benefactor, Dr. Ugochukwu Okeke, the same governor who had given him the scholarship years earlier. Obinna hadn't known this, as Amara never revealed her privileged background. She wanted to be known for who she truly was, not for her father's position. As their friendship deepened, Obinna fell in love with Amara, and she loved him too. Her father, the governor, was impressed by Obinna's humility, character, and achievements. He gave them his blessing, and soon, Obinna and Amara became a couple. They got married in a beautiful, traditional, and Christian ceremony, attended by friends, family, and dignitaries from across the country and beyond. Even some of Obinna's former classmates attended the well-publicized and lavish wedding. When Obinna was ready to build his company, the governor kept his promise and granted him a large plot of land in a prime location to establish his factory. With support from international partners, Obinna built Nigeria's first electric car manufacturing plant. His company didn't just solve transportation problems, it provided innovative clean energy alternatives to car owners across Africa and beyond. Obinna's success as a renowned industrialist enabled him to employ hundreds of people. He trained young engineers and tech enthusiasts. In doing so, Obinna created unimaginable wealth for himself, brought pride to his country, and rendered great service to humanity. To give back to society, Obinna established a charity foundation in memory of his late mother. Through the foundation, he provided scholarships to underprivileged children, built classroom blocks, equipped libraries, and built information and communication technology (ICT) centers across various locations, starting with his old primary school in Eziama and his secondary school in Enugu. At a school reunion where Obinna was the special guest of honor, he arrived with his entourage, including his wife, international business associates, and influential friends. They all donated to the development of school projects through Obinna's foundation. His former teachers and classmates could hardly believe their eyes. The once poor village boy whom everyone had despised and neglected was now a highly respected figure in society. His level of success amazed all. Many of Obinna's classmates, especially those who had bullied or mocked him, were intimidated by his glorious presence. They struggled to look him in the eye. But Obinna held no grudge. He greeted, joked, and chatted with everyone. Despite his achievements, he remained humble and approachable. He even offered job opportunities to qualified former classmates who were unemployed. He provided scholarships to the children of those who were financially struggling. When Obinna spotted his former class teacher, Mrs. Ngozi, he was overjoyed. He thanked her for the motherly role she played in his life, especially during the Teachers' Appreciation Day incident. As he admired her elegant outfit, he noticed a familiar, sparkling object dangling from her neck. It was his mother's priceless necklace, the very one he had gifted her over a decade ago. "So you still kept this piece all these years?" Obinna asked, a genuine smile lighting up his face. I will never forget the day you touched my soul with this precious gift, Mrs. Ngozi replied. They shared a warm hug and a heartfelt smile. Thank you for believing in me, Obinna said. Your encouragement was the push I needed. From the dusty roads of Eziama to the high-tech laboratories of Germany, Obinna's story shows us that your background does not define your future. No matter your struggle, your pain, or your poverty, keep dreaming. Keep walking. Stay humble. And when you finally rise, don't forget to lift others too. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe to Audacity Folktales, your home for powerful African stories that warm the heart. Until next time.